What is going on, you Designated Survivor fans? That's right, I'm a Walking Dead fan, Doctor Who fan, and a Designated Survivor fan. And here we're going to talk about the return of Designated Survivor for its next half of the season, and apparently a continuous one at that, because I don't know about you, but I have been very annoyed by we'll have a good couple of weeks, and in 3 weeks, we'll return. Like, come on, man. But here they announced that it's going to be a continuous thing. So we got some surprises for the next season, well, the rest of the season, excuse me. And, I am a little disappointed. This episode wasn't as great as I wanted it to be, and kind of an eye opener. I had had this idea in my head for some time, and I wanted to talk about it with you guys and see what you think. But one of the most important things is that I'm just not some hater. I like this show a lot, though it does have some issues. Um, but this season has proven one thing and one thing only to me is that they're not really caring about the story. Not as much. Not the overall story, should I say. Because the individual stories are fine, give or take. Some are great, some are not so great, and this one was just not so great for me. So let's talk about the episode in general, and then I'll talk about the biggest thing about the season that's kind of bothering me. So this episode was fine. In fact, it was just kind of all right. Not my favorite one out of the bunch, and certainly not the best, hey, we're back kind of episode. Um, Agent Wells and Aaron are off on a mission, and then they get sieged and they're held for ransom. And then, of course, Tom Kirkman is placed in a very difficult position because his wife died, and he has to respond as quickly as possible to this situation. And of course, he's got to deal with his feelings about his wife and how he's presented it to everyone else around him, what he has to do as president, what he has to do as a husband and a grieving widow, a widower, whatever you want to call it. Terminologies are kind of past me sometimes. But no, it was really difficult to see this episode come together in a way that it did, because it was like, well, wait, what are you really going for here? Because Kirkman is trying to deal with his grief, and then we've got a situation here. But of course, with any kind of episode like this and any show, you kind of have to see them rise above their grief, take care of the situation, and then get back down to grief again. And that's exactly what happens here. Only it just really, boom, here it is. Okay, it's done. Now we're just gonna address it. Yeah, Kirkman, you're treading on water, and pretty soon you're gonna drown. Figure out how you're gonna do this. Figure out how you're gonna process this. And Kirkman's like, okay, so he does, and and then he finally gets to the kid, whoever this kid is. The poor soul didn't even see what was coming in his entire life when this happened, because he's the one that killed the president's wife, and now he's held in prison. And then Kirkman visits him and says, you are going to be kept safe because your survival in the prison is most important to me. I want you to know that you screwed me, and I'm gonna make sure you're reminded of that every day. And then the rest of the episodes that have been conveyed to us is that is actually going to be a new plot point. That is going to be a huge thing. Like, Kirkman might be off his rocker, and now he has to deal with it. So things are not so perfect for Kirkman anymore, because as a president now, he is in trouble. And as grief stance, I get it. I do. And everything about this, I'm still going to be watching the rest of this season. Do not get me wrong. But I don't find this as a strong episode to return and to correct things that I have found flaws in. And that brings me to the overall story. And that's why I said these writers don't necessarily care too much. So in the beginning of this season, we had all found out that the First Lady, who I don't know the name of right now, which I will put down here, she was leaving the show. And we know that they had probably had to wrap around this story that they had going on and how to kind of convey her departure towards the mid break. At least that's what I feel. And so the story has unfollowed, and we're going to be talking here for a bit. So pull up a chair, make sure you know you're comfy, because I'm going to be talking some in-depth stuff. Spoilers from the first half onwards. So if you don't like that, go watch it, catch up, and then we can come back and resume. But here, for me, this is so glaring for me. Like, wait. This is where you're going. So in the first half of this, they kill off their main villain, their big villain, the guy who blew up the Capitol building, who was there from the day one, who planned all this. They killed him off in the first episode, and then he left a last hurrah, his final laugh, the killing joke, so to speak. And he essentially left a seed to be planted and then watch it grow. And then the next episodes explored this conspiracy, this family event that happens that affects Kirkman in such a way where he's watching people that he knows and loves turn the trust around and going, okay, there was more to it than I thought. And yes, that's great. I love that. That's amazing. But it was a kind of a question of where was all this going? It was a subplot in the whole thing, and the whole scheme of things, you were still wondering where it was going. Well, now we started to see where it went, especially by the mid-season break, but I was looking forward to this next episode premiere, which was this premiere. It didn't become the episode I wanted it to be that would help kind of fix a few tweaks in here and there. I mean, of course, yeah, I've got no control over a TV show. I get that. But honestly, I felt like they could have at least written this a little bit better. The thing is this. You're watching in the first half, the First Lady, her mother, and Tom Kirkman and the family struggle against this small little conspiracy of what the First Lady's mother has done in terms of starting a court case, and Hannah Wells's superior trying to do what's right and thinking that this is the way it needs to be and this, that, and the other. That was all said, well, and done, especially with Kirkman's, predecessor being involved in this whole little conspiracy type thing. And that was fine until it led to the First Lady's death. And that's where I was like, hold the phone. Okay. You mean to tell me that this entire conspiracy has led to this moment where Tom Kirkman's wife is to be in a freak accident by the end? What was all that for? All that just happened in terms of character development and growth. It was like, yes, let's show everyone to their last great moment. Let's have everything look really good for this mid-season break. And then tragedy strikes, which always happens in 24 and Battlestar, Doctor Who. That always is the case when things go really well. Tragedy strikes, and that's in real life too. I get that. But it was not only seen coming, not by just me, I'm sure a few others saw this coming, but it was almost like, this is a given. We're going to do it, and there's nothing we can do about it. She's leaving. The First Lady, the actress, she's leaving. We got to just do this, and it makes sense. Okay, boom, done, bye. And then the next episodes don't exactly address anything or help cover it up. And my thought would be in this episode when Kirkman visits the kid that killed his wife. You'd get like a subtle hint. Maybe he was paid off. Maybe he was able to find the root of the First Lady and was told to kill her, and maybe he had something more going on. I felt that could have been a much better written episode, a much better story arc waiting to unfold, and instead it was that. And I feel that it's a missed opportunity, if not a glaring flaw. I just cannot escape out of my head. And then my dad actually brought this up. When anybody that's a part of the presidency is en route, the motorcade has areas blocked off in the road. So when they have to go from A to B, there is no hiccups, no interruptions. And I had thought, yeah, even if you had to suspend your disbelief, even with this truck coming out of nowhere, killing the First Lady, it's by chance, It was like all this development between the First Lady and family, even with Tom Kirkman, all just led to a head-on collision or a T-bone. That was stretching it for me, and it's hindering my believability and my suspension to disbelief. And it's really hard. And it's so glaring for me that I have to address it here in 10 minutes. And I apologize for talking so much, but it's a big glaring flaw. And I would like to know what you guys think. If you could let me know down below if this is excusable for you, if this is actually not bad, it's kind of like, yeah, I'll overlook it. But it's so glaring for me that I can't overlook it. And I don't know if anyone else saw this. So I just feel like with a combination of what story was to be, and then when the actress said that she was going to leave, the exploration is fine that the writers wanted to see this come to light. But I just feel like this was definitely a glaring flaw that led nowhere, and it left me feeling a little empty. So anyway, all in all, coming back to basics here, the episode tonight, or should I say whenever you're watching this, it was all right. It was not the best. In fact, with the ransom stuff, it was a storyline that I think was kind of a second thought just for Kirkman to kind of go, okay, I'm back to my A game, but I'm still grieving on the side. And then I just didn't find the writing on point. I didn't really find it very interesting. I was kind of getting frustrated. So anyway, that's just my pea picking brain here. So if you guys enjoyed it, by all means, please let me know if you enjoyed it as well. No worries. I'm just that guy that kind of found a flaw that I'm just seeing if there's anyone else who had a pea picking brain like me. So anyway, what did you guys think of tonight's episode, or whenever you're watching this, what did you think of this episode? Let me know down below. And if you like this, I do movie reviews, TV show reviews in 7 minutes or less, and episode reviews are not in 7 minutes or less, but it's in the same vein, and universe reviews, where movies and TV shows that make up a series, or either they come together to share a universe. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, until next time.